Welcome to Autographers Anonymous, a place where we discuss our addiction to the greatest hobby in the world. Let's go around the room.
What's up, guys? It's Mike from the Autograph Network, aka the Godfather, and may the force be with us.
What is up, Autograph Nation? TTM Troy here, aka just Troy Rudder, I guess. And I like Mountain Dew.
You guys were so not prepped for that. My name is Zane Savage, and I used to ask for stamps for Christmas.
All
right. I did a little something. Mikey's birthday was 2 weeks ago, but I didn't get this prepped in time. You guys may know what's coming because I did this for Stacy. But I'm going to attempt to play this on the show using my microphone because we don't have a mixer. So bear with us as I turn the mic a little bit and I'm unplugging my headphones. Here we go. Let's see how this goes. And I'll have to do a screenshot. Okay. Sorry for the loud noise. All right. Let's turn it this way. I know that's loud. I'm sorry. And we're going to screen share. And for those of you listening, I apologize. Okay, here we go. And then, without further ado.
Godfather, how are you? Former WWE superstar Hornswoggle here. Actually about to go out to the ring right now for Joey Janela's Spring Break Part 2. Part 3, Night 2. But wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. It's birthday coming up, so I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Hope it goes well. Hope you get everything you want. Take care. Have a great day. Happy birthday.
So that was Hornswoggle there from the WWE. Okay, let me turn this back around. Hopefully that went well. We'll stop screen sharing here. Hopefully it'll turn back to me. Okay, we're good. And let me plug my headphones back in so we don't get echo. And okay, so I'll probably edit this out in the audio podcast. I'll leave
Thank you, sir. It would have been better if he came out from like under the ring.
Hey, well, our technical prowess here is not up to par. So
that's awesome. Thank you, man.
I'll send you a direct link to the video so you have
cool.
That. But little birthday wish from Hornswoggle himself. Let's go ahead and start off with new returns. Let's start with the man who has a million, Mike.
All right. Part of this down this week. I got TTMs and some purchases. I'm not going to show all these, but if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, I bought pucks from a dealer on Facebook. I ended up getting 15 more. He gave me a deal on the Tampa Bay Lightning, the rest that he had, and they're doing awful. They're going to get swept out of the playoffs. Best team all year, and they're going to get swept. Hasn't happened before, but I digress. So awesome. TTM returns, and I got some purchases I'll show. Ring of Honor, great football player. Leroy Jordan. This is a Sports Illustrated cover. This is a private address I found. You guys probably have never heard of him. This is Scott Foster. And if you've never heard his story, look it up. He was a backup goalie for the Chicago Blackhawks. And when I say backup, he was the emergency goalie. He's an accountant by day. And both their goalies got hurt, and he got to play in one of the games, and it was awesome. Billy Bean, great baseball player, another great story. Dealt with a lot of homophobic issues in Major League Baseball, and he's actually the vice president and special assistant to the commissioner. Sent a nice business card, but another great story. Hall of Famer. You guys know I love my Hall of Fame stuff, but anytime you can get them, take advantage of it. Lenny Moore with the Hall of Fame inscription. He's getting up there in age. This is a blown up 4x6 of his rookie card. I also love rookie cards. This is Cliff Floyd. Great Expo card. That's a 92 score. And here's a classic draft pick blown up 4x6. Probably one of the best MMA fighters. I think she's better than Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes. There she is, beating Ronda Rousey. She beat Cyborg and also Cupcake.
And if you would like a fabric fob of her, go over to fabricfobs.com.
There you go. Wrestling, Evan Courageous finally signed. Of course, the great group 3 Count in WCW. You guys know I love my wrestling. This one was a surprise return. It's been out a long time. One got smeared, but this is Ruby Rose. If you guys watch Orange is the New Black, she's on that and is slated to be the new Batgirl. So pretty big star. This one just came back today, actually. And we recently went to the Kennedy Space Center, which is about an hour away from us. But this is astronaut Mark Kelly, and he's got a great story. Signed 3, but he's got a twin brother, and the difference between them, because they both spent different amounts of time in space, is phenomenal. If you look at them, their bodies completely change, and they're twins. It's freaky, actually. And this one came today. This is Johnny Robinson, Hall of Fame football player, signed 2. I did include a donation. And if you guys follow anything about Johnny Robinson, there was this huge brush up because he used to sign for free, got in the Hall of Fame, and then his price list was astronomical. And there was a huge backlash. And his rep said, I'm trying to cut down on people reselling. And long story short, he went back to signing 1 per. So he will sign 1 per for free. Just some quick purchases. Picked up some wrestling stuff. This is Zack Ryder. Has had a great run. Never a main star, but has been in WWE a long time. One of our favorite groups in TNA was Decay, and this is Crazy Steve. These are 8x10s, and one of the biggest flop entrances ever, the Shockmaster. So
That's
I had to pick that one up.
Yeah.
I picked up this lot. This is nostalgia stuff. This is 1980 baseball at its greatest. I believe that's Rick Aguilera. This was one of the main reasons I got it. Matt Noakes, who was a Detroit Tiger catcher and supposed to be like a phenom. So he was big back in the day. Kevin Seitzer. Jerome Walton with the 1989 NL Rookie of the Year inscription. He was great with the Cubs. There's a couple more in that group, but I'll pass those. And then got this lot, the football Hall of Famers, Brian Dawkins, played for the Eagles. Actually, that was a lot of 2. And there's one with the Broncos. Champ Bailey, Hall of Famer. There he is with the Broncos, I believe. Then I got this from the same seller, and this is a big one for me. And this is the last one I'll show, but the Sandman, Mariano Rivera, first unanimous Hall of Famer. That's it. I'll wrap it up.
Signature.
Yeah,
Such pretty signature. One of the best.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Takes pride in it. He really does.
All
So,
right,
Troy Boy.
Well, I did most of mine last time. It's been kind of slow, but I did get one of the best signers from last year's spring training, and he wasn't signing a lot this spring training, but he seems to be returning stuff now. So my only returns other than an autograph of the month club is from Danny Duffy. I got 2 different versions of the card, one with the little 150 deal on there. But he was, I think he might have been number 1 on my list last year. So he's been returning stuff from Kansas City, sent to spring training this past week. So if you have stuff out to Danny Duffy, you might get it back very soon.
Noticing a lot of purchases there, Mike.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe we could talk about that on another show. How maybe some collectors are moving from TTMs over to purchasing,
So
and why.
So here's the April Autograph of the Month Club, I guess. Right. Oh. That is someone, Eliana Huffman. She was on Stargate Universe and also the series Supernatural. That's all I know. So
Hey, if she was on there, then it's worth some money because people go crazy over that stuff.
there
Supernatural
you
is crazy huge right now.
go. Yeah.
Well, on my end, again, only purchases. Picked up some stuff in a lot that I bought for my business and had some extras that were in there that I didn't need for the business. This is Scott Savall. He's an American Idol dude, probably worth like 5 cents. But it is numbered out of 250. Then we have Bransicombe Richmond, who he was host of Good Morning Hawaii. And he was a Hollywood tough guy. I guess he fought against the Dark Knight and Batman Returns, and I guess he's an actor, but so that guy. That's probably worth $1. I don't know. And then I actually busted a box. I didn't film it.
Oh,
I know. I didn't film it. Could have got those sweet Ripken views.
those pulls.
I know those pulls, man. I don't pull as hard as Troy does. So I did a box of The Guild, which was a web series back in the day. And they came out with a card set, and they had boxes on sale for $22 a piece. So I thought that'd be fun to do a couple, just to, I don't know, have fun. I pulled a Felicia Day relic card. That's the only thing I don't have here to show you because it's going into my fabric fob product. But got Sandeep Parka from that. And also got Robin Thorson. So no Felicia Day auto, but did get a relic card from her. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is a relic card that I'm not going to be actually using for my product. This is Vincent Queso, but this is specifically like a very distinct part of the Cheesy Beard shirt. I don't know if you've watched it. That's a decently knowledgeable part of the show. And he's actually wearing it in this photo, but you can't see the graphic. I actually screen matched this with the shirt. It's pretty cool to like see it on the web series and then have it in your hands.
Wait,
so
Cheesy
Beard.
And his name's Queso.
Oh, yeah. Maybe there's a joke there. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they had an inside joke. I don't know. So that's all I got. A little lackluster the last 2 weeks. But we're going to go ahead and move on to a new segment, a newish segment. I usually have a segment I call the worst name segment on our show called TTM Tool Reviews. And this is the second worst named segment on the show. This is TTM Tool Discussion. I had to prep the show a little different this week because we didn't know if we were going to have these guys on or not. So I was going to have kind of have some banter and back and forth with the chat. So this was going to be a segment that filled a lot of time, but now I can discuss it with real people like Troy and Mike. So basically, we're going to talk about some tips you can use when you send TTMs regarding 4 categories that I just made off the top of my head. The first is paper. So in general, when you write a TTM, you got to realize these celebrities get a lot of letters. A lot of times they don't even see the letters. They only get certain ones passed to them through other people. So if you're just writing on a piece of computer paper, or typing, even worse, typing on a piece of computer paper that's white and sending in a white envelope, handwriting the address, you're doing what 75 or 80% of the people who write TTMs do. You're not going to stand out. If you're writing to somebody who signs, you'll obviously probably get a response. But if you're going for those, private addresses, rare hits, you're going to have to stand out. So our first category is paper. You guys have any tips on paper that you use or would be a good idea to use if you're writing to somebody you're hoping to get a response from that's kind of tough?
like you said, I think the biggest thing is if you're wanting a special return, you got to make yourself stand out. I've used colored paper. I've used papers with, kind of a background on them. Think about who you're writing to also. Obviously, an A-Rod or baseball player is not going to care about flowers on the letter. Okay. But an actress in your favorite movie, that might catch her eye. For me, let me grab one of these. Obviously, I started autographs with a cure, and that is the main focus of my letter. So right up top, that's in bold, and I've put my ribbons on both sides there, and also a giant ribbon down at the bottom. So it's just something that when they open it up, it's not just a white piece of paper and they're like, it's a typed letter. Something is trying to catch their eye. And if you do it with colored paper, a lot of times, like Zane said, a celebrity might not ever see your letter, but the ones that do, that might catch their eye.
Yep. I find an IRS letterhead is really useful.
Oh man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that I bet that really works well. Troy, you got any ideas on paper other than colors? Actually, before you tell your side, I did use for my tiny card project, which didn't work. I did use like certificate paper that's kind of marbled and older looking, and I thought that was kind of distinct. It's not that expensive, and it would stand out among all the other letters, a little classier too. So that is one trick that I used, which I don't know about the results because I think the tiny cards were the problem. But Troy, you ever tried anything like that?
Well, back when I was doing 8x10s, I did a lot of basically. This is a little bigger, but I was handwriting, obviously, but I used smaller pieces of paper, and I did use. This is a little bigger. This is one I actually just bought for handwriting, but I did do blue and purple, and one of those pads that have all sorts of things.
And he'd write in his left hand.
No, well, actually, so maybe that's you should have told us what was next on your list, but yeah, I do use my like fourth grade signature sometimes, just with the interesting cursive that that no one uses anymore.
Yeah,
but
it happens.
But paper, yeah, I usually use the half sheets that are portrait size, the smaller pads, just so you don't have to fill up a whole college rule or something.
Right.
But these days, man, unfortunately, I use the white paper and I type. So
Troy's giving into the system. He's one of the 80%.
But when I go back to 8x10s, that might all change. So.
Yeah, definitely. You're putting more money into it, so you have to try harder. Yeah. Okay. Next, we're gonna talk about envelopes or envelopes, as some people say. And some people like the tiny envelope and the big envelope. I think Troy does that. I always use the same size envelope, and that's one envelopes. I mean, I guess on this last project, I used the tiny envelopes, which I had problems with the post office with, but they definitely drew attention. Once they got there. But I don't know if they got there because the post office, they're like illegal to send something that small. Other than that, I've never experimented with colored envelopes. Is that even legal? I guess you could. You can send a package with any color.
Yes. So. Staples sells like bright color envelopes, but they're really expensive. And I tried that once with Major League Baseball sending these bright neon blue envelopes to the Blue Jays at spring training. No,
Zero.
I think that the biggest response I ever got from an envelope was when I didn't have any more 8x10 envelopes, which were whatever 10x14, whatever the bigger size is, and so I had to go even bigger. And I sent it out to Vern Troyer before he died, and he actually commented, "Could you find a bigger envelope for me?" And I thought that was pretty funny, sending the largest envelope possible to. I didn't do it on purpose; it just happened to do that way. But the colored envelopes are more expensive. And another topic that people sometimes considered controversial is the easy peel
Right.
for the returns. I have people, I've never really had people say, on the letter, please use easy peel next time or anything. But
Those
it does make it easier to get a return if you use the easy peel. And with they used to be more expensive, but now you can get a box of 500 at Costco or Sam's Club for pretty cheap as well, and so they're
That's a
more
really
common.
good point. I forgot about the easy peel. That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Mike?
Yeah, I looked into the like colored envelopes, and they're crazy expensive. So standard number 10 with the self sticky little pull and seal. That's the way I go for both sending and returns. What I did with autographs for a cure, I did use the one of the print services to make return labels, and put the ribbon on and put it all black with white lettering just to try and make the return address stick out a little bit too. If somebody gets a big pile, they might, again, just trying to catch somebody's eye. It's not just a regular white and black, lettering. So just something different, but nothing crazy with the envelopes for me.
Yeah, that could be a good, I might explore that a little more. Like the tiny stuff didn't work, but I'm liking some of these things you guys are bringing up, and maybe I could find a peely colored envelope that is shaped weird that will actually be legally sent through the USPS. Okay.
Well, that's another good point. I mean, they make that envelopes in like greeting card sizes too, or invitation sizes. They make them colored, so you could always try a different, rather than a 6 3/4 and number 10, try one of those different sizes too.
Well, this is a little off topic. Postcards. Have you guys ever sent a postcard to get a TTM? Which postcards are cheaper on postage. A lot of you guys, I don't know if you guys knew that, but I think it used to be quite a bit cheaper. So on people that send out their own photos, have you guys ever sent a postcard to get that done?
No.
But just due to the SACE, the self-addressed stamped envelope etiquette, I guess.
Yeah. I know kind of along those same lines though. I know a lot of people do index cards as kind of photo protectors. Same thing I did this postcard. It's cardstock, postcard size. It's my way of asking if they want to do additional signings. I'll provide stuff. They just have to return this and let me know, and I'll send more stuff. But I also use this as kind of a sturdier envelope kind of stuffer. But this is postcard size also.
Nice. That works nice. John in chat says he does his on legal yellow legal pads, which that's pretty interesting too. That'd catch their attention. Okay, let's move on to the second to last one, which is I guess I put colors down. I guess we kind of already did that.
Well, ink color, I guess.
Ink color, yeah. Ink color would be one.
Yeah. I mean, when I do the typed letters, I definitely always sign in blue so they know it's not just a blanket letter with a photocopied signature. And like John said, he handwrites everything in blue. So I try to write, if I do write, everything in blue, including the envelope as far as my stuff. So.
Well, we can talk about fonts on this, I guess. If you're going to pick a font for a TTM letter, you want it to be readable. Don't put it in like medieval type or something like that, where somebody has to like sit there and decode it. That's just as bad as like terrible handwriting. It's actually worse than terrible handwriting because it didn't take time. So always be conscious of that font. You can do something that stands out. Don't make it look like a ransom letter. That's never good. It'll get their attention, but in the wrong way. You got anything on color, handwriting, or font, Mike?
Same thing. I've gone to pretty much 100% form letter, and to make it kind of not look like a form letter, I sign my name in red ink, and then usually I'll put a small handwritten, just a quick 1-sentence note at the bottom, in red ink, and that way, it adds a little personalization. But I don't sign it in blue or black because I don't want it to look like a photo signature.
Right. Okay. Last one, guys. Letter contents, wittiness of the letter, tricks that you can use to possibly get a better response. And as Troy always talks about when he talks about TTMing, and he talked about this in his famous TTM how-to video, you always need to be honest in a TTM letter. That's first and foremost, because if you're not, there's a chance you could be very embarrassed down the line. So with those rules intact, what do you guys think about using some tricks in the letter? What do you guys use, Mike?
I think if you're dealt a card, you play it. I'll talk about myself. Obviously, if you guys follow me, you know what I've been battling for the last 3 years and why I've started Autographs for a Cure. I've got the cancer card, and that's in my letter. It's not a pity. Please sign for me, but hey, it's definitely in there. Our friend Garrett over at Card Cutter 23, he's a serviceman. He's active military. He writes. He's got a military address. Does it help? Sure. Is there anything wrong with playing that card? Hell no. He's put his life on the line defending our country. So if anybody has a problem with it, get out of the hobby. It's if he's out defending the country, more power to him. But again, anything, if you have kids, and you're writing and saying, will you please sign for my kid? Please personalize it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have an angle, whatever it is, as long as it's honest, don't say, for my dying kid when he's healthy as a horse, because that karma will come bite you in the ass, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Just be honest, but I have no problem playing any kind of card if you're dealt it.
Absolutely. Troy?
Yeah, I definitely agree. There are two things that I try to do. I do the first one more with football. If I have football cards that I'm sending out and they're current players, I try to look at the last game and say, oh, that was a great game. Glad you won, or sorry we lost, that type of thing. Try to tie it in if I can't think of something directly to the player. But, like Mike said, and what you said, be honest, I have, for those who don't know, when I was 12, my dad killed himself. So I kind of used that, and I quit Little League and all that, and quit cards. And that's kind of, I'm getting back into that kind of a hobby now. So I do mention that. Right. It's true. I have the news articles to prove it if I want.
Yeah.
But I don't, one thing I don't do, or that I'm trying this year is what I never put my age in the letter. And so I've been feeling a little guilty about that, where they might think that I'm still younger. And so I've been changing it up lately and saying, despite these obstacles I've overcome, and I've worked for, Warner Brothers, I've worked for Universal, I've followed my dreams, stuff like that. And it'd really be great if you could sign this for me. So
that's awesome, man. Like those guys said, if be honest, use your life experiences to fill the letter, make them feel like they know you. That's a real easy way to connect with a celebrity, and sometimes you'll even be able to correspond back and forth if you connect enough. I would recommend on your response back, if you feel like the celebrity wrote maybe a letter back talking about what you talked about, then respond with a letter, not asking for an autograph, just having a frank discussion about what they wrote about. That lends I'm actually doing this right now. That's why I'm bringing it up. It lends some credence to the sincerity of the letter, if that happens, and it's just all around good being a good human being. They did something for you, and if they're actually interested in your situation, I think it's a good thing to reply back and explain certain things that they want to know, and thank them for signing for you. So
yeah, I mean, like Mike said, sometimes they reply with a longer letter back, and you always follow up with them. I had one Dirk Benedict from Battlestar Galactica and the A-Team and stuff, and he didn't sign for a while, and then there was like a small window, and he wrote books about his experience, and it was, I bought it on Kindle just to read it. I was like, wow, he went through some crazy stuff. Not exactly the same as I did, but very close. And so, you kind of get that personal connection. So if someone does reply to you with a longer letter, I usually like send out something that like a couple extra cards and say, hey, if someone doesn't send something and ask you for an autograph, here's a couple cards for that next letter that didn't send you something,
right.
That type of thing. And that's just something cool. I did that with Brooks Robinson lately. I just was like, you signed 2 cards for me with the inscription. I'm like, here's 3 more if you need them, so.
Yeah, I think that's missing a little bit in the hobby these days, is the fans actually writing back and not asking for anything, but thanking them for what they do. I think we take some of those guys for granted. I know Bobby Dorr signed for years, and I think a lot of people did write to him and tell him, thank you. You're a Hall of Famer that signs whatever is sent to you pretty much automatically.
And kind of on the flip side too, like, obviously my case and what Troy just talked about, those are some pretty, heavy angles to write in your letter. Think about, going the opposite. Try and humor them. I sent Aubrey Huff, who was a baseball player, a photo. He tried to make a diving catch and it was awful. He was way off, but the players ribbed him by putting like an outline of a dead body out in the outfield. And so I printed off that picture and sent it to him. And he wrote, ha ha, pretty funny. And then, he sent my stuff back. So think about that. Like, you can send a fan letter and they get hundreds of fan letters saying, oh, I'm your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan. But, try and think of a different angle. Like, I didn't get it back, but I sent Jose Canseco the photo of the home run going off his head because I thought it was funny. I thought he would too, but so just, it doesn't always have to be, this happened to me, I'm depressed, whatever. And it doesn't have to go that route. It can be, something, where it catches their attention, humor. So
yeah, I've always thought of the, I've never done it, but I've always wanted to do the, fake intro letter where you're grasping their attention with something like possibly negative, like I met you and you did this to me or something like that. Maybe not that direct, but like gets their attention where they're kind of worried. And then like in the middle of the letter, you're like, I'm just kidding. None of that stuff happened. I'm just something like that. I've never pulled the trigger on that, but I would be interested in how it would work. And you'd have to pick somebody with a darker sense of humor. You wouldn't be able to use that on anybody. But also, when we talk about life experiences, you may have a massive collection. A lot of you guys I know have been collecting for years. And if you're writing to somebody and you really don't have like an angle to go at, you feel like you're kind of stuck, you could always talk about your collection and actually take photos of your collection and shows how much it means to you. With you and your autograph collection, and use that angle. Somebody might be willing to contribute to add to your massive collection. That's another a lot of people have those that are listening. So I just figured that would be another one. Okay, let's move on. We're running late already. So great discussion, by the way. Love that. No fanatic feedback. You guys didn't send anything last week. How dare you? Oh. That's okay. But we need a short show this week anyway. That leads us to the giveaway winner. We had a gigantic autograph given away that's in horrible condition. So we gave away a Buzz Aldrin autograph last show. And here it is. What's left of it? It's got 3 tears in it, one through the actual signature. But we did give it away. So that is going to Josh Greenup. Greenup. Congratulations, Josh. You have won a Buzz Aldrin signature. We'll get that out to you ASAP. And I love the responses. Pretty much everybody said that they liked matte finish photos. And there was one guy that said he liked glossy photos. And he knows they smear. but he thinks they look better, and he sends 2 of them just in case one gets smeared. My experience though, when one gets smeared, the rest are getting smeared because they're getting smeared because they're signing and throwing them on a pile. But that's just me. Let's talk about this week's giveaway. We are giving away a Jaleel White. And you're like, who is Jaleel White?
Did I do that?
That's Urkel, man. It's Urkel.
Did I do that?
A certified auto from Urkel. And none of you guys guessed my mystery item last show. That was a baseball, by the way.
I thought somebody answered it in the chat, but they must not have put it.
I told them not to. I told them
right.
So they didn't follow the directions. It's the core of a baseball.
So your camera switched. Can you show it again?
Oh, I didn't hold it up. I was just going like this. Okay. Fooled you. I don't even know where that thing is, but we're giving away the Taryn Manning that we were going to give away for that little mini contest. So the winner of this week's giveaway will win Jaleel White and Taryn Manning, who's on Orange is the New Black. So the giveaway question for this week is, do you have any TTM tricks yourself? We talked about a bunch of things you can use to boost your viewing of your letter and possibly get it to the celebrity if it's a harder to get case. Do you guys have anything that you use? Tricks with the paper, the envelopes, the colors, the witty letters, whatever. Answer that question on our website, autographersanonymous.com or graphersaa.com. Takes you to the same place. Click on the right-hand side, the giveaway button, answer the question, and you can win a Jaleel White and Taryn Manning certified auto. So that's it for the giveaway. Now the time everybody is, or the thing everybody is here for, the case against.
Bump, bump.
And this is the case against Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. And I'm going to start off here. I have a lot of photo evidence, and you guys can kind of fly off that. So let me screen share here. Okay. Oh, is it flashing for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm having the seizure.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there. It's solid. It's because I didn't have the cursor on there. Okay. Carrie Ann Fisher. No, I don't know her middle name. This is a certified auto, Carrie Fisher. This is one of the few times she actually has the C close to the R's. You can see it's about the same height. It's still above, but she has to do that for the sticker. The sticker is not very big, and her signature is a very fat signature. So this is one of the few examples of that, certified auto. This is her normal signature. As you can see, the C is high, and the F is high. And this is normally what you see with this Carrie Fisher signature. I can zoom in a little bit if you need me to. There you go. Beautiful stuff. This is actually one of my old signatures that I bought. This is a certified publisher book plate signature in one of her autobiographies, and I made it into a matte. But again, the high C with the F, it's about the same height. And one of the big tells on Carrie Fisher is this E at the end is very defined. So always look for that. Carrie Fisher is a pretty easy case. I'll say that up front. This is a certified Franklin Library book that I sold. Again, high C, high F, about the same height. Got the E defined over here in Fisher. We'll move on to the terrible, terrible, terrible TTMs that people get. She's been signing like this for ever since I can remember, with several, I would say several exceptions. I thought it was a few exceptions till I went back to Star Tiger and looked, and I was amazed at what I saw. But this is what you would normally get if you wrote to Carrie. It's a C that pretty much is in line with the A and the R, and the F is above the C. Same here. You got the C a little bit of above, but the F is above the C. Well, this one's too big. Okay, there we go. Again, well, the F actually is under on this one. I mean, I guess this one, I don't know. This one's a little iffy now that I'm looking at it. I thought this was a slam dunk. Whoa, zoomed in way too much. Okay. Thought this one was a slam dunk, but now I'm kind of reassessing it. But here you can see the C pretty much same as the A. And the big tell, I think everybody talks about the C. It's pretty consistent on the C, but the E is where I look. So let me go back to the other one. Yeah, so the E is not there. It's just it looks like an I. So that's the big tell again. I. That one's an E, but whatever. And all these aren't going to be the exact same. And then we get to the authentics, or no, are these the in persons? Yes, these. No, give me a second, folks. No, these aren't in persons. These are TTMs that were received, TTM, and are authentic. So these look exactly like the signatures I showed you at the beginning. You have the C way above the A. With the F, again, same height as the C, and you got the boldy, again here, same thing. And the inscriptions are very bold and fat also. The inscriptions, do we have any? Oh, we'll get to those later, because we're also going to compare. There's a conspiracy theory that Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds use the same secretary, and I'll show you why people think that at the end. But so consensus on Carrie Fisher is pretty unanimous and easy in my opinion. These are real. She signed actually authentic about 30% of the time that I saw. But it was during little short spurts. And the rest, it's all garbage. And they're pretty distinct signatures that are different. If you're not understanding me over audio, please go to the video and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's move on to Debbie. These are in-person Debbies. So the big thing on Debbie, and everybody talks about this, is the S at the end. If the S curls back around, you have a fake or a secretarial. And if the S goes straight out, you have an authentic. Another thing to look for on Debbie is the D. If the D tail is connected or almost connected to the loop on the D, it's most likely authentic. If they are separated, it's most likely secretarial. That holds true through most of these signatures. So again, we have an in-person. The D is barely touching right there, and you have the S at the end tailing out. This is another in person. This is later in life Debbie Reynolds' signature, so she's getting a little older, but it's still D touches the first rising bar there, and then the S tails off. All right, now we're getting into the secretarial TTMs. The amazing thing about Debbie Reynolds is this was not really thought of as a secretarial until several years ago. For people like John Travolta and Sally Field, I mean, it's been known forever. But PSA DNA has certified many of these secretarials as authentic. Like, you can go on eBay right now and buy a certified secretarial. And one of the reasons is, and I think they have the website header for her website was not her signature. It was a secretarial signature for the header of her website. I don't know if I don't think I pulled that. But I think that's one of the main reasons that they got certified so often. And people, I mean, it's a pretty good secretarial. I've seen a lot of secretarials. You can usually tell Carrie Fisher's secretarial, for example, is very different, but this one not so much. Again, another secretarial. I want you guys to notice on these the sloppiness of happiness. It almost I can't really explain it. It's very sloppy, and I'll show you compared to her actual inscriptions why I think it's so. But just look at the kind of sloppiness. It's kind of, the letters are all over the place. There's no uniformity to them. Again, the D's aren't connected, and the S goes back. Again, D's not connected. S goes back. These are all TTMs. Now also look at the 2 inscription up here. You have the little banana. I call it the banana at the bottom of the T. That's a very unique way to make a T. Oh, not a very unique way, a unique way. Happiness is also, again, kind of sloppy and everywhere. S going back, D not connected. And then this may be the last TTM. Got a little sliver banana, but S going back, D not connected. Then I found some TTMs that are legit from Debbie Reynolds. And as you can see, the T is nothing like the T that you saw before, which in and itself, that kind of proves that the one of them secretarial. Happiness is written in a very uniform way. The D connected, the S goes out. And again, this is a TTM. So she did sign TTM every once in a while. She signed less, though, than Carrie Fisher, which is, I found, pretty amazing since you'd think she would have more time. Another TTM that is legit from Debbie Reynolds. And this one is unique because it has 2 with a capital T. I really don't know what's going on there, but happiness is written exactly the same way. Very with good penmanship, not a little chaotic like the secretarials. Again, the D is connected and the S goes out. Now we're getting into the in-persons, and I wanted to, here's what we're looking at now. I guess I'll tell you my consensus for Debbie Reynolds. I think you can pull it from what I've said, but almost all of her stuff is secretarial. The S is the biggest tell, but also look at the D. And she did sign a few times TTM, so that doesn't mean throw all your Debbie Reynolds away. Go check and see if your signatures match up with the S and the D. So this is an in-person, and so I thought it'd be a really good template for inscriptions. Again, we have a good handwriting on the happiness. The 2 is exactly like the authentic TTMs that we looked at, the 2 previously. But a lot of people think that the same secretary was used for Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. Here we have an in-person signature from Carrie Fisher and an in-person from Debbie Reynolds. Again, the 2 is made exactly the same way. So if you see that 2 written that way, that's legit. Also, she usually writes happiness. She wrote love on this one. S goes out, D is connected, as always. And this is just another handwriting sample. A little interesting, though, because the S does curl around just a little bit, but not as bad as the TTMs. Now we get to the terrible, terrible Carrie Fisher TTMs again. And again, we're looking at inscription now to find out if the same person is signing these. And this one is definitely not the same person as the TTMs from Debbie Reynolds. The 2, I haven't seen a 2 like that in this whole group. And I would say the handwriting is similar to the Debbie Reynolds signature, but you would think the 2 would be written the same. Let's see. That one really doesn't tell us much. Just a terrible fake. Anybody that thought these were real, you need to do more research on your signatures because you're going to be fooled when you're buying autographs, which you really need to worry about. So we're getting to some interesting stuff here because what do you see on that 2? You see the banana. The banana. So where else did we see the banana? We saw the banana on the secretarial Debbie Reynolds photos. Mm-hmm. Okay. So she's obviously had multiple secretaries. Carrie Fisher has. But this secretary specifically is most likely the same secretary that Debbie Reynolds used.
Do you think about splitting the inscription from the signature, or like maybe the inscription?
Yeah,
words?
I would, except the E is an I, and the C doesn't carry up high enough, so it's obviously secretarial also. Mm-hmm. This signature over here looks legit, but this one over here, and that's probably printed on the photo. They probably couldn't find. Actually, I know that's the case because these are the same photo. And again, I don't know if that's a banana Actually, that almost looks like a F. So I don't know what's going on there. But so definitely this person right here is the same person that signed secretarial for Debbie Reynolds. This one's a little iffy. Yeah, I'm not sure on it. So here's the evidence, guys. This is the last thing I'm going to show. This is why the whole controversy exists for Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. It's this one photo that was posted to Star Tiger right here, where let me zoom in on this one. This is important. So this is signed by Carrie Fisher. I think it was listed TTM. And she points an arrow to a previous signature on the photo. Said, my mother's version of my signature. Sorry. Happy Thanksgiving. Now, I'm like, okay, yeah, your mother's version. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, this may be her mother's version. This is where this whole conspiracy started right here. I'm pretty sure on this photo. Because it's around the same time period people started talking about it. This T does not match up with the known secretary between Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. So this actually could be a signature from Debbie Reynolds. I don't know. It could be. But this is kind of where the origin of why people started thinking it was the same person signing. And there is some evidence to that. Obviously, her mom was not signing her signature, her stuff. Maybe she did back in the old days before Carrie Fisher got a ton of fan mail. But there's no way Debbie Reynolds was not signing her own mail, but she was signing Carrie Fisher's mail. That is ridiculous. But that's the whole provenance of the story, guys. They both signed every once in a while, but most of the stuff out there is blatant forgeries from secretaries. Carrie signed a little more than Debbie, but that's what I got. That's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. Let me stop the presentation and kick it to you guys on your opinions.
I agree.
Hey, what do you think, Mike?
And just for if there's any young listeners that don't know, Debbie Reynolds is Carrie Fisher's mom.
Yeah,
So
I should have said that. Holy cow! Yeah, totally.
that's why we're
fact.
lumping these together. So
And they also lived right next to each other.
yes,
So
it is not uncommon, especially the close proximity of where they lived and being family members, that they would have a family secretary, somebody that handles all their business affairs like fan mail. So that's why we're doing this together. I'm going to agree with Zane's everything on Debbie Reynolds because I didn't have time to print stuff out, but I do have my Carrie Fisher stuff. And what I found, this is JSA. So this is a nice big example of Carrie's signature. And same things. The C is very tall, looping down. What I looked at is she had a very distinctive way of writing her R's, and then the F. Look at your signatures on the very fake ones. The way she comes off can you guys see that? The way she comes off the E in Carrie and comes around in the F on Fisher. The fake ones go the opposite way. I mean, the really bad ones, like Zane's last couple photos where, I mean, the one that was inscribed like Johnny goes the exact opposite way. I mean, those are obvious forgeries. But what I looked at is her R's are very distinctive, the way she kind of jets them down. And then she had a very loopy F. And she had kind of a sloppier signature. The second one, this is a whole page of secretarial autographs. And what I saw is kind of what Zane was talking about. If you look at the C, if it is kind of along the same lines, height wise as the rest of Carrie.
I just want to say that second one to the bottom on the left looks almost exactly like Debbie Reynolds' signature. Like that's definitely the same secretary. I'm just
Yeah. So, you can find these online. I think like this is a good example. The R's in Carrie, I think if they look like actual R's, you're in trouble. Because like I said, hers had a very distinctive kind of almost loop up and then jet out and down. The way she wrote them, I mean, that's hard to do on a consistent basis. And from all the secretary ones that I've seen, they tried, but it never really duplicated that. And then the ones that didn't, I mean, it's a nice cursive R. Don't get me wrong, but and then the F's. Like I said, watch which way the F kind of comes off the E. But then also, you see a lot of this where it comes up and it just kind of almost comes like a pi symbol. Hers was more like this secretary that tried to loop it around. But I think if you're more upright off the E and down to the F, I think that's a tell too. I think the secretaries didn't get the R's right, and then the F's are just whoop and straight down. Like I said, off her certified stuff, her in person, you've got that cool little Fisher loop there, and then the jetted R's in Carrie. And again, the size. I think the C is important. It's huge when she has space. I know Zane showed the sticker auto. If she's limited, I can understand that. But if she had space, that C is just up and down compared to the rest of her signature. It really dominated the first part. And I think that loop on the F where she could kind of curl it around was a classic Carrie Fisher signature. And I don't think that most of the signatures coming out of the TTM world for Fisher were real. I do think there's a strong case for a family secretary that handled both Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. But there is times that I think you could get legit stuff from both stars. So like we always say, don't go shredding autographs just based on what we're saying. We do our research, we present it, we'll come to a conclusion, but it's the opinion, on this show of 3 people.
I mean, Debbie's is so consistent that I think she's had the same secretary forever. She had the same secretary forever. I mean, it was the freaking logo on her website. I think that Carrie had multiple secretaries, that's what it appears, and she would occasionally use Debbie's secretary to sign for her. So this whole conspiracy theory that they signed, the same secretary, well, sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. And then sometimes, like I said, Carrie would actually sign legit. The one thing I didn't look at was where these were sent to be signed. These could have been via venue, TTM signatures. These necessarily may not have been sent directly to the home. I did not check that. So, but she did sign sometimes.
That brings up a good point. I wonder, I didn't look this up, who their agent was too, because if you sent to the agent, it could have gone to one secretary for Carrie Fisher, but if you sent to the house, it could have gone to the family secretary. So I definitely think there was multiple secretaries, especially in Carrie Fisher's. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different signatures on this page that I printed out. And I think it's 10 different people signing. So
and the inscription on Carrie Fisher gives it away. She has a very sloppy, fat inscription. If you see that, you're probably good. If you have the banana on Carrie Fisher or Debbie Reynolds, you have Debbie Reynolds' secretary. I think that's the code. It was pretty easy on this one. There were a couple outliers that were a little iffy, but not even close to Mr. Trump that we went through. So
I I think part of the problem too is that it's not just TTMs with Carrie Fisher, a huge Star Wars person like Princess Leia. There's a lot of forgeries that are not coming in TTM. When you look on eBay, that is flooded with nothing but fakes. And that I think that's part of the problem that you're running into, that it's not coming all from secretaries. It's, people forging too.
Right. Always got to watch out for those. And with somebody as big as her that sells for as much as her, those are going to be out everywhere.
Yep.
So know what you're looking for. And you guys got to, this used to be a saying on the old podcast, do your research. So it's very important. All right. Troy, you got anything to add before we end this
I
thing?
agree.
Okay. He agrees, everybody.
No, when you were talking about this, I thought exactly what you brought up at the very end was, I thought the controversy was that Debbie was signing carries for a while. So
I don't see any evidence for that.
And that would be highly irregular.
Right. For her not to sign her own mail, but she would sign carries.
Yeah.
And it may be back in the day before these, like we're only seeing stuff from a certain time period for the most part on Star Tiger. Carrie Fisher was active many years before Star Tiger. So there's stuff that could have happened before then that we don't see. So it's a possibility. And like I said, on this photo, the T is nothing like anything I've seen. But it doesn't even look like, well, I can't really see past the signature. It's kind of blocked by the writing on top of it. But I guess it could be Debbie Reynolds forging Carrie Fisher's autograph, but it's probably from an older time period before everybody and their brother wrote to Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds on Star Tiger. I mean, this stuff probably happened back in the 80s. So, all right. I think we solved this one. I think we're all unanimous. I guess we got to do our rating system. So we're going to do our rating system now for both. And we have definitely authentic, probably authentic, neutral, probably fake, definitely fake. So it's a little tough because there's some authentics mixed in with the TTMs. We pointed those out. We're going to judge the ones that most people get back on each person. So I'm going definitely fake. What do you guys say? Oh, what's on Carrie Fisher? Definitely fake.
I gotta say probably fake, just because there are some that we showed that are legit. So I can't say definitely on all of it.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm saying let's cut those because we're almost positive the ones that I showed are authentic. They've got the handwriting and everything of Carrie Fisher, like the bold handwriting. Let's judge the ones that most of the people get back. Do you want to do by that, or do you just want to do generality? It's up to you guys.
I think if you go by when people were collecting and when Star Archive started, I would probably, if you just cut off the date and not ones that people got before that and then scanned in, so 95 on, I would have to say probably definitely fake.
Okay,
Definitely.
Carrie Fisher, we're going definitely fake. 2
For me
against 1. Well, I know, but I'm also voting that way. So Carrie Fisher, definitely fake. We're talking about the ones that most of the people get back, not the outliers. This one's going to be interesting. This one's going to be interesting. Debbie Reynolds. So I'm totally made my mind up on definitely fake, but I have a feeling it's probably might swing the other way. So, and again, we're talking about the ones that everybody gets back, not the outliers. So, Mike, how do you feel?
I'm gonna, if we're just going with the mass majority of what people are getting, I'm gonna say definitely fake too, because her signature is just very clean and crisp, and the signatures that people are getting back, there's too much variance, and then the inscription is no.
Yeah, even though it's PSA certified.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff.
There, it's just an educated guess on their opinion too. So
Yeah.
It's not the gold standard.
Troy boy.
It's hers is tough for me just because, I have seen, well, yeah, and I have seen where the signature is real and then inscription's a secretary, and so that kind of, when the two inscriptions were kind of the same. I'm gonna have to probably say I shouldn't use the word probably. I'll go definitely fake after. Well, actually, most of those that I've seen. Yeah.
Troy's jumping in. So we have a consensus of wow. That's the one I thought we'd have definitely fake on Fisher and probably fake on Reynolds because Reynolds is a newer discovery. But we're going definitely fake on this one too. So
On both. Yeah.
it's on both. So unless you have one of the outliers, don't throw your stuff away. Check them. Look for evidence.
Don't shred
Make your
them
own
like I
decision.
do.
Yeah, right on the back if you want. But so that's our opinion, guys. And they use the same secretary on a few examples that we saw with the banana 2. So if you have a banana 2, you have a rare example of like if you have a banana 2, Carrie Fisher, you have a rare example of a secretarial, the Debbie Reynolds secretary signing for Carrie Fisher, which that'd be kind of cool to have one of those. I might look for one of those just to have one, kind of a piece of TTM history, if you will. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. We got to wrap it up now because we're running a little late here. Again, go to Fanatic Feedback, ask us some questions. We had a dry spell this week, no questions you guys asked. So if you ask it, you're probably going to get on the show. So jump over there. It's autographersanonymous.com or graphersaa.com. On the right-hand side, Fanatic Feedback. Hit that. Ask us a stupid question. We want you to do it. And then promotion, guys. Let's start off with Troy Boy.
Well, as everybody might have seen, or if you have not, I released my TTM hot list for Major League Baseball. So you can check that out on my YouTube channel. And this is not life size, but you could always buy my book on Amazon. Search for Autograph Collecting Secrets. I just happen to have this right by my desk. So
that's sharp, man. I like it.
Over to you, Mike.
All right. You guys can check out www.autographsforacure.com. I promise I will get it up because I didn't go over this return because I wanted to save this, but I did get an awesome return in from somebody, and they made a donation. So nice kick in the pants to get going on this because I know people, once they hear about it, they're going to back it because I've had people reach out. So I promise.
All right, guys. For me, the Savage Library on eBay. Buy some autographs. Cheap prices right now.
Say that again.
The Savage Library on
there
eBay. Sorry, I don't know if it cut out there. We sell autographs at a very low price. Try to beat everybody else in the market. And then Fabric Fobs, own a piece of celebrity clothing and a keychain and show it off to friends. Good discussion piece. That's all I got. We got to get the hell out here. I'm Zane Savage, and you take care, all of you autograph addicts.